University is going to be made up of Bad News, Giro, and Harrow Man. And Kansas State, they had a pretty decent season, all things considered. They did make playoffs after all.
They certainly did. I mean, that's what you can ask for when you're not quite at that 50-50 mark at 500, 3-4, so just under that threshold. But listen, it's a brand new day. Listen, Fiat, it is March Madness, so why not translate that into some Rocket League as well? Kansas State University gonna need a lot of that energy here tonight. Gonna need to summon that because they're going up against Northern Arizona University varsity here. This team has been red hot in the West A division here, 6-1 coming in. They're only lost to OKEA Gold in week 4, a 1-3 loss there. They definitely learned from that. Chronicle, Beast, and KJ will be the trio coming in. We've seen a lot of Galaxies as well. We've seen a lot of this team, all 4 of these players on the pitch. It doesn't matter who they put on, Fiat. They're going to give this Kansas State University team a tough time.
NAU thrives in the spotlight, and the spotlight is what? And we are back, folks. Game 1, Northern Arizona University versus Kansas State. And now, off the kickoff, we're already seeing some spicy plays coming out from both teams. Galaxy's light hit in the air now. It's going to be KSU with a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah, that's what we talked about in the pre-show kicking off here. Kansas State needs some of that offensive time. They need to be able to escape the zone. They've been able to do that quite well here in the first 30 seconds. And we'll see if that continues here. As from the back roll, it'll be Chronicle. And that challenge from Kansas State there at midfield, but it will inch its way forward towards NAU varsity and their side. Kansas State looking to strike back, but Chronicle with a big save on the defensive side.
And it's demos coming out from KSU right now, trying to give themselves some space. Bad News off the backboard with the clear, but 0 boost to follow up with it. It's going to be Beast with a hit down. Giro able to get one more defensive touch, and now that's going to be over Chronicle, but it's also over Harrowman. Harrowman not able to make the touch, and now Galaxy's still 0 boost, but does have possession of the ball in this corner, just trying to keep this in, trying to get something working for NAU, and that's a shot on target, but it's going to be slow enough for Harrowman to get a good touch forward. Still on their defensive side, looking for the clear. Kansas State University 0-0 so far in game 1.
And you see Beast on the field here for NAU. That is not Beast mode, but the way he's able to take over games at this level within the NECC has been quite noticeable and quite reminiscent of his counterpart name, as now he's been on a couple of plays that have really opened the opportunities for NAU. That said, Kansas State has been doing a good job to keep the tempo that NAU has set, but how long will that continue is going to be the question throughout the entirety of this best-of-5 series. Even with Kansas State being able to match the energy early, they got to carry it through the length of this best-of-5.
3 minutes left and some demos coming out. That's going to be a shot opportunity for NAU. It's saved by Giro. Galaxy sending that towards the net, looking for that open space, and now it's up high. Giro gets it off the backboard. Chronicle control touch to the sidewall, goes for the Cuxer, not able to get it unfortunately, and now it's KSU with a little bit of an opportunity. That's over one defender, and now Chronicle has the opportunity, sends that mid maybe for Galaxies. It's going to be floating in, and it pitches up in there halfway through. NAU takes the lead.
That crazy pinch, and the read from Chronicle to get up that early was insane. And Galaxies, instead of taking a shot directly on, it was a difficult angle, number 1. Number 2, you saw the defenders on the short side post, so he went to the far side with a bounce shot. It was the only way you could get it past the defense there. So very clever work there from NAU to find a way around this Kansas State defense, who has been pretty stacked, but you see why NAU has been effective all year long with that play.
ACU still just trying to take their time playing this game at their own pace. That almost left for an opportunity, but 2 in front of the net for NAU, able to keep that out, able to retain their lead, and now off the sidewall. It's bad news, but this isn't bad news for Kansas State. They have possession over here. Bit of a heavy touch, though. It's going to be Beast. Has a bit of an open net, actually. Opts for the fake. Chronicle is going to take it, and 2-0 for Northern Arizona University off the rebound.
And you called it right. This is a fake from Beast. He's just flying up and looking to get a touch at first, but Chronicle called him off. That is such a strong play because you open yourself up. You know that you have a teammate in the box because of that prime communication here from NAU. And Kansas State wasn't able to get that read because of it. Excellent fake, and they're right back at it again here. Chronicle fakes it, pulls it back down. But to the box will go Kansas State as they were able to fight that one off, mend it off. Now a shot taken to the far side. Chronicle, a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be for him with the lack of boost there and having to get his backwards momentum to make that save, but nonetheless, able to get out of harm's way here, and NAU will clear the zone.
NAU really just controlling the pace of this match so far, just taking their time with their possession, understanding when and when they don't have space to use for their offensive plays. But it's going to be KSU now needing some sort of counterattack opportunity. Light touch in front of the KSU net. It's going to be Chronicle hitting that backboard, maybe a mid shot. 50'd by Harrowman, and now it's set back right. Chronicle needs to intercept this, but it's Giro with the beat, actually. Galaxy has to jump for this early, trying to keep this on the sidewall, trying to keep this close. Able to get one beat, but it's going to be Harrowman. Oh, Harrowman gets the whiff. It was a bit of a fake coming out, but NAU just takes a free open net.
Yeah, they take that all day long. Galaxy with that 50-50, and it looked like K-State, well, they got a little bit antsy there trying to challenge on that 50-50. NAU varsity didn't get that touch until after the fact, or at least waited, had the patience to watch KSU just kind of fly by it before they jumped on it and got that easy little tap in. One of the easier goals that Chronicles got all season long here to give NAU varsity this 3-0 lead. And Kansas State hasn't been able to answer. Is there time now? They crash the box. It'll be bad news to do it. And Kansas State on the board here with 41 seconds left. They got some time here in game one.
Giro's just forcing that on the offense, forcing NAU to get an impossible clear, and they just put the pressure. Bad news, sending that in, and now with a 2-goal deficit, 41 seconds left, KSU needs a tiny bit of luck on their side, but they know they have the skill to do so, and now on the possession, it's going to be Chronicle on the sidewall, up in the air, going for the flip reset, maybe gets it around one, but it's bad news. Good light touch, 2 sent that from NAU, and now a clearing opportunity for KSU, and bad news, doesn't have the boost needed to put that one on next. Galaxy's able to take a slight possession, high hit coming out from Giro. Chronicle saves it off his own backboard, low boost, 2 go from KSU. You've seen a few double commits from both teams right now, but it looks like NAU are going to be able to keep their lead strong, 4-1 for Northern Arizona.
Yeah, the dagger here for game number one. Kansas State, they were able to hang around in the first couple of minutes, but we talked about their pace and how it needed to be up the entirety of the series. And unfortunately for them, it only lasted 2 minutes long, but in game number one, that is. They were able to strike back, get a goal, yes, but it was NAU. Just take any shots that are given to them at all. Hey, listen, to their credit, they are able to get a goal, and they're looking to add more to it here. And as long as they're taking shots and forcing NAU at a boost, maybe eventually they'll be able to find some of that control, but we need to see it just a little bit more often here in this game number two.
And really, it's just the consistency that's helping out NAU the most because of how well they've played together, how well they mesh together as a team. It feels like they're almost doing this just without any challenge. They're doing it almost effortlessly, and now NAU, with a bit of an awkward play, Kansas State has an opportunity for the open net. Chronicle able to come in and race NAU now with the offensive opportunity, a bump with a shot, open net, and it's perfect. Beast coming in, reading that play. A bit of a whoopsie daisy coming out from Kansas State.
It certainly was at that double commit. It looked a little bit awkward on both sides, right? B stepped in way too early, bumped the teammate out of the way. It already looked like their communication was a little bit off on that defensive scramble from NAU, but then Kansas State matched that energy as they were just as confused as NAU were in that moment, and that's how NAU got this 1-0 lead here.
I mean, you know, it happens, you know, double the commit, double the success, am I right? That's how it usually works in this game. Not really, though. You usually don't want to send everyone at the ball, but Beast is sending this towards the net. Almost an opportunity. Galaxy's 50 high in the midfield, and now it's going to be KSU. It's on the air in the height. Chronicle able to get the 50 there, and now Beast with a bit of possession, but it's Gyro shutting that down, trying to get the center, and it's over one, but it's going to be Chronicle getting that pass to the left field. Everyone on NAU's in a bit of an awkward position right there, just on the side wall, but luckily coming out unscathed.
Well, I did say March Madness prior to this matchup happening, but what I failed to mention was the fact that NAU having 3 members of their team in one wall, literally in one space, occupying the same space here. We've seen it multiple times. The fact that Kansas State hasn't been able to capitalize on these mistakes is truly concerning me for the Wildcats here. NAU has really shown a bit of vulnerability here, and we just haven't seen the capitalization on the other side.
So in the air, they now have a bit more possession. A pass to the midfield. It's going to be a high shot. Harrowman putting it in off the rebound from Giro. Beautiful midfield pass right there. Just the slow catch, chaining up that momentum, and then boom, banger, top bins. Tie game now for KSU here off the kickoff.
That's the pace I'm looking for from Kansas State. That pass had so much velocity on it. To the fact where NAU, they were in the vicinity of that pass, but they weren't able to defend it because it had such heat on it, and it was so direct and on target. In Kansas State, there's been a couple of times where NAU has had some pretty clear mistakes that they could have taken advantage of, and Kansas State said, "No, that was too easy. We're gonna try and force it in a difficult time," and they handled it quite well here. And NAU now watch the lead disappear, trying to get it back now. But standing tall here on the goal line is bad news. They'll need to keep that up because NAU is still on it.
So on the KSU side, it's Beast with the shot and Galaxies with the open net, taking back that lead from KSU, even though this game was tied, but now NAU is just trying to find that perfect pressure, those perfect net in that open space. It's what they do perfectly, and it really is still coming down to that consistency. NAU putting their shots on target perfectly, and Beast now up in the air off the backboard, and he's gonna put in maybe another one in a close opportunity. Almost the double tap for NAU. They're starting to feel themselves here.
Yeah, you see the support come in almost instantly. That definitely indicates to me that their offensive rotations are back in order. They weren't very clean here in the first couple minutes, but they've really started to figure it out here to get the go-ahead goal, and now they're looking for more, maybe a little bit of insurance here as they've been able to control the pace since then. But look out. Kansas State, opportunity shot taken, but well wide of the target. Now looking transition the other way. Galaxy's going to try to tap it past with the redirect, but Kansas State's defense will hold strong. They'll get the clear now. And that one will go just a little bit wide of net, thankfully for NAU. And a bit of back and forth pong as we go both ways. Beast with some open space. Demo out in front. A good recovery save as Giro is able to get back in time.
Close opportunity from Northern Arizona. They're starting to pick apart Kansas State's defense just little by little, and now there are the demos coming out. They're getting a bit aggressive. They're trying to make that open space. Awkward rotation coming out from Kansas State right here. This is going to be a bit hard to defend. That's a shot top right, and it floats in. Galaxies with his first goal in game 2 right here. 37 miles an hour, just going straight right into the net.
And look at Chronicle Bale on that one. He had a feeling the Galaxies knows where to label that shot. It was perfectly placed. You saw the pre-flip attempt from the Kansas State defender who didn't have boost in his tank, but is still very close to being able to get that save. Just wasn't able to capitalize. Now back to it. Beast again. NAU varsity. We've seen this score line before. 4-1 for them.
His name does not lie. He is a beast on the field with the double tap, and that's just a perfect possession. Just the slight touch off to the side post, but it's not high enough where it's going to be on the backboard. Makes it a bit easier to jump at that with just the single jump, and Beast gets that 4th goal for NAU. Galaxy's looking for the 5th, and that's an opportunity. Luckily, KSU able to find the save into their own corner with a bit of possession. Galaxy with the shot, and the demo isn't there. Harrowman makes the save.
Yeah, Harrowman definitely stood tall, stood his ground there in that because there was a bump incoming. They were able to sidestep it. Now Giro, good pass, 1, 2, 3, but just a little bit wide that time too. NAU, you said they're feeling themselves. You can tell just by the way every pass is landing, every shot in their favor. Almost another dunk there as well by Beast. And now they'll leave the door open for K-State, but time is run thin. 12 seconds left. That should solidify it for NAU varsity. They'll be on match point after a couple of 4-1s. Should this end with the same scoreline? NAU absolutely dominant. They've set the pace. They've set the tone. And now they've set themselves. They can close out in a game number 3 here with that in mind.
KSU now having to pull off the reverse sweep. It's definitely a mentality change from when they started this series. The confidence a bit lower for this roster, but they do need to keep pressing on in this series because this is their playoff hopes right here in this game number 3 against Northern Arizona University. And now we're looking at some bums. Galaxy sending that over, but it's going to be Beast picking that ball up. A great hit coming out from Giro. Bad news now, trying to look on the bit of the offensive, but gets it around. It's, oh, what a shutdown actually from the midfield. Last second cut to keep it on, and now NAU needs to get a bit more creative, and they do. The beautiful passing play less than a minute in.
What can Chronicle not do? Playing defense to a T, and Galaxies was able to beat that defender perfectly timed and then placed it towards center field with the confidence that a teammate was going to come over. It was Chronicle to do it, but I mean, that's just pure faith in your team to get there, because Chronicle had to cover the distance of the field east to west in order to get across and get that one. Now looking for 2, challenging the defender back, but Bad News able to make a save. We'll keep it within 1 for now, with Kansas State on their heels.
Kansas State still in the defensive and looking for the bumps. It's Bad News, but he bumps his own teammate, unfortunately. Double tap opportunity not scored, but it's a low shot from B, saved by Giro. That was a close call from Kansas State, but they're not out of it yet. Still trailing by 1 goal in this game. They need a bit of a clear and a bit of a double commit coming out from Northern Arizona. Nearly an own goal, but Harriman is lucky to have that save accolade right there. ASU still stuck on their side, not able to find it. NAU is just playing around now. Light touch with the second goal for Galaxies.
Yeah, a couple of pre-flips there to add injury to insult here, and Galaxies knew when to step up on that one in just a clinical shot there. Pretty simple from a relatively difficult angle, but nothing that NAU varsity hasn't been able to handle in the past and will continue to handle here against Kansas State. Now look at them pre-flipping all the way to the ceiling. Chronicle looking forward as well, but tapped away from Bad News. They're looking for a clip, and they want it. The pinch will have to do here back towards their net. An easy goal they'll take. But of course, you know they're thinking about that highlight goal and still trying to get after it.
I mean, that's a weird miscommunication from KSU. All 3 of them just right next to the ball. NAU doesn't really have to do much, just gets the 50 and it rolls in. And it's, again, coming down to that consistency, coming down to that simple play style that NAU has. They're not trying to be the flashiest, although they definitely have that ability and they keep it in their back pocket. But generally, they're just trying to play consistent. They're playing the ball in the right rotation, letting their right teammate take the possession. And it's working out for them with this 3-0 lead in game number 3. Beast in the air with a high ceiling touch, but it's going to be Giro trying to hit that towards net, saved by Chronicle, but Kansas State still pressing on to NAU.
Still rolling, trying to find at least a little bit of life, and it is possible if NAU loses focus here that maybe you get a couple on the board, but the way it's been going, NAU has been showing off, and they're allowed to do so. There are strong wins, there are clinical, disciplined wins that we saw in games 1 and 2, which will continue here with goal by goal in game number 3. They're allowed to go for those flashy plays and get fancy. It was their fundamental gameplay that you're calling out, Fiat, that got us here in the first place, that allows them to have a little fun here in game number 3. And what it looks like to me is that they haven't lost focus. They're trying to have some fun, yes, but they are still absolutely domination station when we talk about this Champions Division.
That's how you know when you're good at the game, when you can have a bit of fun in these high-stakes situations on playoffs. Like KSU, they're a tough opponent, but NAU seems to not really care that much about our rankings, about standings, about anything. They're just going for the ball, and it's going in, and it's working out. 5-goal lead, Northern Arizona. I would say that Kansas State isn't out of this yet, but generally speaking, 5-0 leads and 3v3s are not that easy to come back from.
No, I would agree. I would agree. I also agree with Mike Lobig here in chat that says, good job, NAU. Yes, they have done great.
Pat on the back. pat on the back for NAU. I mean, they're going to get more than a pat on the back after this match, but wow, they're just playing good. Like, generally, like, they're playing perfect Rocket League almost. I mean, it's so hard to see games like this where it's not just two teams making mistakes and it's back and forth or one team getting lucky. NAU is dominant. NAU is confident and they know what they're doing, and that is the difference maker in this bracket. With a lot of these teams, with a lot of these playoffs, they just feel so comfortable. They feel so comfortable in these high pressure situations that it just becomes second nature to players like this. But Kansas State still messing around. A high hit from Beast into that midfield. It's going to be Chronicle on the possession, 50 by Bad News, and Galaxy's now taking the possession. Maybe a bit of a pinch, but it's shut down by Harrowman with a minute left.
And although a shot taken here from Kansas State, it all feels like a formality here at this point. Another one goes in for, bounced around first, but it is in. From Galaxies here, NAU Varsity will continue to run up this score. And in the meantime, got to show some love to Kansas State, who you have to imagine didn't expect to be here in the first place. As a 3-4 team to make the playoffs, they had their opportunities here, and I think that they didn't really take it for granted. I mean, there's really not a time where I said, hey, Kansas State looks absolutely lost. I mean, the score would tell you that NAU is the better team, and I would agree with that stat, but I would also say that Kansas State, there's moments and flashes in a few minutes throughout this series where you're like, I love the potential of this Kansas State team moving into future seasons. For now, it's just not their season, but that doesn't mean it can't change in the future. NAU just the better team overall in this series, and honestly, Fiat, it showed.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas State, they still definitely have potential within this roster. And I mean, like, you look at game one, right? They had that amazing passing play coming out off the counter, right? And it was just so fast for NAU, they couldn't even respond. Oh, my God. Oh, that's a beautiful play. Sorry, I had to interrupt it, but you got to look at this. Watch this one. Up high, Galaxy hits it back into the back where you don't even know who's going for that one. That's a 7th goal for Northern Arizona. Galaxies on the assist right there, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, Kansas State, they have a lot of potential, but this season just isn't theirs right now.
Yeah, and having some fun is NAU. They will complete the Brazil. I'll hold that thought. 7 seconds left. We'll see if Kansas State can spoil that at the very least. I mean,
it's possible.
Obviously they want something.
It's possible. A goal a second. I have faith. I have faith in the Kansas State boys.
Look at them in chat too. Brazil tickets to South America. Oh my goodness.
Wait.
Yep. Looking at the chat. Oh, in the game chat, so much fun. These players, a blast to work with. There is the Brazil. It is locked and loaded. NAU Varsity will be featured in the semifinals of the champion side bracket with a dominant performance over Kansas State. Excellent work from these three players to just bring us a show and a half.